Coming up on Mountain News this morning, recently Lexington experienced its first flu-related death of the season as officials urge everyone to get vaccinated. We have an update on where the Higher Ground project in Perry County progressed almost a year after its announcement.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We are coming up on 6 a.m. on December 19th, 2023. Let's check in with meteorologist Shane Smith for a look at your forecast this morning. Shane, people are leaving out the door and they should add some extra time for that windshield, huh?
Oh yeah, because of the colder weather and the snow we saw last night, there's a few slick spots out there. Let's check out what is going on right now. You can see we have mainly clear skies in the Cumberland Valley, a few clouds out in the Big Sandy, Kentucky River Valley, and even a few flurries still flying in Pike County. Some of that snow on the ground in the higher elevations. You can see US 119 and 23 in Jenkins and UVA Wise both have snow on the ground. Temperatures teens and 20s this morning, so it is cold out there. You're going to need some time to scrape off those wind chills, factoring in the wind to get the wind chill. Man, that's a mouthful. You're seeing those feels like temperatures 17 right now. Jackson and Middlesboro 9 in Wise. So plan a little extra time to get the car warmed up because there is a bit of ice and snow in a lot of spots this morning. And as you head out the door, we are going to see those thermometers only topping out into the mid 30s. So a cold, windy and wintry day, even though winter doesn't officially start for 2 more days. But when it does, Madison, things are looking kind of mild. A look at a warmer forecast coming up here in a few minutes.
Shane, thank you. The city of Lexington reported its first flu-related death of the season. A person more than 100 years old died last week, but anyone, no matter their age, can fall ill from the flu. Jessica Umbro talked with the Lexington Fayette County Health Department about what the department says can help prevent more flu deaths.
While most people can get sick and recover, that for some, that's just simply not the case. We have high-risk members who unfortunately either get hospitalized or in this case, end up with a fatality.
Monday morning, the Lexington Fayette County Health Department released a statement announcing the first flu-related death of the season last week. And preventing further flu-related deaths is a team effort.
This is something we can do that's easy to do, whether it's the shot, the mask, staying home when you're sick. It's all pitching in to make this just a healthier place.
Kevin Hall of the county's health department says it's important to think of other people's health in addition to your own, especially those who are vulnerable to illness.
The flu is spreading, it is out there, and we need to work together to keep those numbers low. If you're not getting the flu shot for yourself, if you're not taking these steps for yourself, do it for other members of your family, or even just the strangers that you come across every day.
While flu shots may not entirely prevent you from getting sick, Hall says it can mitigate symptoms and the length of illness.
You can be sick for up to 7 to 10 days with the flu, so any relief you can get is valued.
And with the holiday season just around the corner, a difficult decision may be choosing to stay home for the sake of others.
I know that you may not want to miss that family gathering, but if you're showing a fever, you've got a cough, a sore throat, you're running the risk of getting others sick, potentially, again, those high-risk members of your family.
Jessica Umbro, WKYT.
For more information about whether you are covered by insurance for the flu and COVID vaccinations, you can call your county's health department. The Pulaski County coroner confirmed that human remains were found in the western part of the county. The coroner says a farmer found the remains on Bethlehem Ridge Road while cutting firewood. Officials believe that the remains may have belonged to a person who has been missing since September. The body was sent to the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort for DNA comparisons and dental analysis. A Southern Kentucky man could face felony charges for taking items off of a porch early Sunday morning in Knox County. Police say a woman told them her Ring doorbell alerted her of someone taking something from her porch. Knox County Sheriff's deputies found the suspect that same day. He told them he could not say why he took the packages, which ended up being party decorations for the homeowner's children.
He didn't. He did say that he wasn't interested in anything that was in the box, and it really wasn't worth going to jail over the items that were in the box.
Jail is a possibility because of a law passed last year which enforces punishments for the crime of porch piracy. It makes it a felony instead of a misdemeanor, which means he could serve at least a year in prison. Right now, Souch is facing charges of receiving stolen property, but he could face more charges from Knox County. Berea police are urging business and restaurant owners to keep an eye out for counterfeit bills. Officers say scammers are using prop money made for movies and are using the fake cash anywhere they can. Berea police officer Barry Manley says they are seeing several cash denominations, including $1, $5, and $10 bills. Manley says when businesses realize they received these counterfeit bills, they just count it as a loss.
Wherever a business might be busy is probably where they'll try and use it. It gets used at big stores, it gets used at small stores. It's very random. But the biggest thing is trying to educate, cashiers and anybody that has to handle money.
Officer Manley says to report any counterfeit bills you receive to the police so they can figure out where they came from. Governor Andy Beshear announced plans for a higher ground project in Perry County, often referred to as Skyview, almost a year ago. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us where the state government and housing organizations are in the process of building homes.
There is a lot that goes into a project involving more than 100 homes.
Especially where these high ground communities are on most of the time land that hasn't had houses on it before. They will need to build an access road. They'll probably need to run water lines there.
The most recent hurdle state officials were able to jump was for receiving an environmental permit. They need the permit to access federal funding.
So it's really at the point that the permitting gets approved that we can move forward.
Why is an environmental permit so important?
They have to take into consideration if there's environmental hazards like chemicals, pollution, things like that would negatively impact people.
Stanganelli says that includes negatively impacting the environment. That review is one of many steps that make building a neighborhood a long process.
A lot of these high ground projects, it might have been months ago that they were announced, so a lot of people might be, wondering where the houses are and things like that. But it takes a long time because there, like I said, is a lot of development work that goes into it.
Stanganelli also says they have a lot of folks still in line to potentially purchase higher ground homes. In Perry County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The Skyview property is one of multiple higher ground projects the state and housing organizations are working on.
.07 time for another check of the forecast, and we are dry right now across southern and eastern Kentucky. Outside the WYMT studio, you can see a mix of clear skies and clouds, just a few clouds out there. Pretty decent snow on the ground up on Pine Mountain. Looks like they got about an inch there, 19. And a similar situation down in Whitesburg. You can see a little bit of snow out there creating a few slick spots. Take it easy if you're going to be out and about this morning, especially in places that saw a bit of snow overnight. I can personally attest there are some slick spots out there. Took about 20 extra minutes to get to work this morning, friends, so just be careful out there. 25 right now, Hazard, 24 Jackson, 25 Harlan and Middlesboro. As we take you over the next 12 hours, we are only going into the 30s for highs today. It's going to feel like a cold, wintry day, even though technically winter doesn't start for 2 more days. But by the time it gets here, it's going to feel a little bit warmer than it should. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a few minutes.
Shane, thank you. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, new action from the U.S. as chaos from the Israel-Hamas war spreads throughout the region.